Welcome to Eclipse Second Dawn for the Galaxy. In this game, we'll be playing as interstellar factions or aliens trying to gain dominance, build empires, and build an economy and ships and fleets that will be able to take us to victory of dominance over everyone else. The game plays itself in rounds of sections and rounds, and each round will be using our economy and action points to build everything up. We win the game by getting a more victory points than all the other players, and we'll actually go through how you can score victory points. There's a multiple different ways, and we'll just try and make that as easy as possible for you to understand. I love this game because it perfectly matches the ability of exploring and building an economy and battling. Like they're all important functions. You can't just do one without sacrificing and losing a lot of victory point opportunities that you would gain from other avenues. So it's about getting that balance, and you don't see that a lot in these 4X kind of games where you could just go down and run one route and dominate that route and still win the game. This has that ability. You have to make sure that you're doing impressing on all fronts and focusing on all of those. It is a big game. This box is huge, but it is also probably one of the nicest boxes and component game from a game components perspective that I've ever experienced. Setting up is a dream. You pass them their own container with their color on there, and they actually use that container as part of the game, which is just brilliant. When we go into the actual game itself, the different components are actually pretty straightforward. And if we flip over, you can actually see the nice rule set on here. We've got a nice quick reminder on how the action rules work and the preparation phase, and mostly where we're going to be working is in the action phase. Everyone will take one action as denoted on their board. So you can see my player board here. We've got two sides. You've got the alien race side, and then you've got the human race. So if you're doing factions with the humans, and it's advised that you do this first because they are all alliances are the same. So for instance, the Terran Alliance, the Terran Union, the Terran Conglomerate, they all act and feel very similar, whereas the races, the different alien races, actually have different components and powers. They are very different to play and have their own game strategies that you have to understand. So for a first game, definitely stick within the Terran Alliances. And what you'll actually notice is within the game board itself, you have these areas of actions. And those actions all relate to an action on the back. We've got the explore action, the research action, the upkeep action, the build action, move action, and influence action. And we'll go into what each of those mean a bit later, but that is effectively your action phase. You will take one token from your play area, place it onto that desired action, and then you will do the resulting action from it. You continue that all the way through. You can repeat actions as well, and based on how many you have left on the board, you actually fill up the entire board with the tokens. This will actually denote how expensive that turn is going to be for you. At the end of the round, you have to be able to pay everything in there. Now, how do you actually pay for everything? Well, luckily, the board and container actually does that for you. Around the side, you have the little components that will actually track how much resource you have. Gold being your money, pink being your science, and brown being your materials. Fairly self-explanatory. Your gold is used to pay for all of your actions and your ability to do things. The purple or the pink is actually for your science, and that's going to be used in upgrades. That's going to be using in buying upgrades. And your brown is your materials. That's going to be used to build some of these amazing little ships. And you can see that every little ship is different for the color or the alien race that you're playing as. And what's going to happen as we're generating, we're going to be taking tiles off our action economy track and placing them onto the board as we have explored and grown our economy. The more planets that we have, the more resources we're able to generate, whether that's money, science, or materials, and the more that we're able to do every subsequent turn. We take actions every turn, so the explore action will be looking at new tiles and placing it into the grid, expanding the known space that we have. With the upgrade functions, we'll be able to grab any research function from the bar, which will be stocked throughout the game. And these tiles will enable us to actually get new features and unlock new functions. So we can see here, this will actually give us a plasma cannon, and that plasma cannon can be used to upgrade our ships to hit harder and faster. Various different upgrades. We're not going to go through all of them. There is a large number of upgrade options, and they all correspond to upgrade tiles that we can then play on our ship. So our ships at the top of the screen here, you can see, can be upgraded. We can override components, we can enhance them, and we all just have to make sure that they're within line of our energy constraints. The next option is the upgrade action. So once we've researched something and it is in our research track, so this is that central section here, we can actually upgrade them. So any ship that we have, we can then use the upgrade action to affect that change. The next action is the build action, and that actually allows us to build any of these ships. You can see in the top right or top left of each ship, it has a brown number, and that brown number tells us how much resource of the materials we need to spend in order to build that ship. And you can see that we've actually got a little 2 next to it. So just like the upgrade of the 2, we can actually go through and we can see how many ships we can build with 2. So for instance, if we built 2 cruisers, that would cost us 10. We then have our movement function, and in the movement function we can actually move between any of the modular spaces that will form the board. You can see here that we have the central space as well as some of the surrounding spaces, but this will be supplemented with our own tiles that will actually make the area bigger. And this will grow as the game goes along and we explore more and more. Moving our ships between those spaces will then allow us to gain more dominance and control more regions. And finally, we have the influence action. In the influence action, we move our influence disc from anywhere that we have control onto an area we're able to. So if we're controlling a region we no longer want to control, we can move it back onto our player board to save some of the money and resources that we had. And that continues, everyone taking one action at a time until everyone has passed. And you simply pass by flipping your action phase token over to the pass phase, and every subsequent turn you're not able to do any actions, but you can do reactions, which are just the upgrade, build, or movement, where you only get to do 1 activation instead of the normal 2 or 3. And that is the action phase. Once from there, you can do your combat phase. We only do this once per round, and there are 9 rounds. Combat phase is taken into effect where any ships of different colors or factions are in the same sector. You take them off that sector based on their ship variables. You actually then have a battle, rolling the dice and testing the luck to see whose ships have better upgrades and the capacity to kill each other. The remaining ship will actually take control of that sector and slowly kill off any planets that are inhabited by that player if they took over control. We then go into our upgrade phase, which actually just is generating more income for all of our resources and adding that to our bank. That finishes the turn, we clean up, add more upgrades, and then we do that again with more actions coming into play. And it's a very straightforward and simple action, but it gets really complicated in terms of what everyone else is doing and are they going to implement or interfere with your plans. And that is Eclipse Second Dawn. We're going to be playing it live on stream, and you can actually check out that channel, our WePlays over the left here, or it could be the right. I don't know where I'm going to put them yet, but we are still learning on how we're going to do all of this. So make sure you check out our Eclipse playthrough, and we can have a look to see where you'll go next. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the stream. Bye.